Hello everyone, so this is lecture 28 of our subject digital system design, and the topic for today's lecture is programmable logic devices, PL and FPG. So in our previous lecture we have already covered the basics of programmable logic devices and the first two logic devices, that is we have used ROM as a programmable logic devices, and then we had covered PLA, programmable logic array, as a programmable logic device. Now we will be covering the next two programmable logic devices, that is PL and FPG. Okay, so we will be covering the PL circuit implementation part as well. So let's start with the basic of PL now. To start with the basic of PL, we have to first rewind the concepts of programmable nature of the previous two logic devices which we have covered, that is ROM and PLA. So in ROM we had seen that AND array was fixed. Okay, so AND array was fixed in ROM, but OR array was programmable, and in case of PLA both AND and OR both were programmable. So the third possibility becomes that AND will be programmable but OR will be fixed. So this becomes the third programmable logic device, that is PAL. Okay, so previous two we have already covered, now this is PL. So we can see that the only difference between PLA and PAL is this, programmable and fixed. So this is the basic point of difference between PLA and PL. Okay, so that difference can be visualized in this form. So in PLA we had seen that if we were using programmable AND array and programmable OR array, in that case there were links, these links were programmable and these links were also programmable, but now I cannot place a cross there because cross denotes a programmable link. Okay, so that cross cannot be placed there. Instead of placing a cross, I will be using a fixed connection like a fused connection, or we can say a dot. It denotes a fixed connection, a permanent connection. That means the connection made here cannot be changed. We can change the backend products to generate a separate output, but actually the sums, the products involved in a sum cannot be changed. You can change the product by changing the programmable links in the AND array, but you cannot change the value of the sums which are involved, which the products which are involved in a sum. That means if you want to generate a output which is having two sums and both sums are having two products each, then this structure of OR cannot be changed. You cannot increase the number of terms in that OR gate. You can add two products for both. Products value can be updated, but this 2 cannot be changed to 3 or cannot be reduced to 1. That means if this you can see that y1 is equal to p plus p. Let's say it is p1, p2, p3, p4. So y1 is denoting p1, p2 and p3, p4, sorry. Okay, and similarly y2 is p2 plus p4. That means any system which is having 3 inputs and 2 outputs, and 2 outputs are such that these outputs are further comprising of 3 products or 2 products, anything of this kind of nature can be implemented using PL. But if your requirements are such that you need 2 sums and each sum must be having 3 products, then this structure cannot work because this AND array is fixed here. Okay, so this is the actually modular type of arrangement which I have shown you in form of user requirement. There are 3 inputs, there are limited number of input, there are limited number of products, only 4 products are there, there are limited number of outputs, 2 outputs are there, but commercially available programmable array logic structures are a bit complex. Okay, they are something like this. So before going to that, first we will be implementing a basic structure using the normal concept which we have covered so far. So let's check that there is a BCD to XS3 converter which we are going to implement. I am not going to do the details of the BCD to XS3 converter that we have already covered in the lecture unit 2 of our subject. So this is BCD input and this is XS3 output, and the basic thing is we are adding simply 3 to the BCD number to get the XS3. So 0 plus 3 it is 3, and you can check any number. The last number 9 plus 3 is 12, and 10 to 15 BCD is invalid, so this XS3 is also invalid. Okay. So we have to solve 4 K maps, E3, E2, E1, E0. So this is E3 base K map. These are the minterms for E2 K maps. These are for E1 and E0. So we have to solve 4 K maps for these 4 minterms, minterm expressions. So this is the K map layout which we are going to use: B3, B2, B1, B0. We have to feed these minterms 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are don't get 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if you solve this, you will find that there will be octet, there will be a quad, there will be a quad. So this octet corresponds to B3. So that's why you can see that there is B3, and then this quad corresponds to, this is corresponding to B2, and this is corresponding to B0. So that's why B2, B0. Similarly, this one from row side it is B2, and from column side this one and this one is common, which corresponds to B1. So B2, B1. That's why B2, B1. Similarly, we can solve K map for other expressions, but this is not the main motive here. We are interested in designing this BCD to XS3 converter using PAL. So we have to go into that aspect. So from that point of view, we have to move to the PL designing part. Now I have to see which kind of PL structure I have to use. So from that point of view, my PL structure must be having 4 inputs. Okay. So let's take 4 inputs. Okay. This will be B3, then second input B2, this will be B1, this will be B0. Okay. Then I can check that there are how many unique products. First, 1 product, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all of them are unique, none of them is repeated. So I have to use 8 separate AND gates. Okay. And there are going to be 4 outputs: E3, E2, E1, E0. So E3, E2, E1, E0. So I'll be shifting that OR part on the left side actually, because it might be overlapping with my photograph on my video on the right side. So I am changing these OR structures. Okay. I am making these OR connections on the left. Okay. E3, E2, E1 and E0. So this is the outer structure. Now whatever links you want to program, you can program them. B3, so this is B3, programmable. B2, B0, this is B2 and this is B0, programmable. Then B2, B1, then this is B2, this is B1, and all these 3 products will be entering the first OR gate, and this OR gate now cannot have crosses. These will be having these dots, which will be denoting a permanent connection. Okay. Then E2 will be B2 bar B0, then B2 bar, that this is B2 bar and this is B0. Then second is B2 bar B1, this is B2 bar and then this is B1. So these are the next two products which will be entering another OR gate to give you E2. Similarly, B1 bar B0 bar, so this is B1 bar, here you can see this is B1 bar and this is B0 bar, then B1 B0, then this is B1 and this is B0. Both these products will be entering another OR gate to give you E1, and then the last one, E0 is equal to B0 bar, E0 is equal to B0 bar, this one, this is the only term involved in this product, and this will be used from here for generating E0. So in this way we can design any basic kind of circuit using BCD to XSC converter. Now the thing is, when examiner says you have to implement this using a complex, if examiner says you have to implement this with a PAL which has 4 inputs, 4 outputs and a 3 wide AND OR structure, that means this structure is provided to you. Okay. Although probability is less that examiner will be asking, but we should be able to interpret how it can be done. So 4 inputs are there, you can check I1, I2, I3, I4, 4 inputs are there. Okay. So first two are corresponding to, this is I1 and I1 complement. Similarly, third and fourth are for I2 and I2 complement. Then I3, I3 complement, I4, I4 complement. So the 8 up to here are for the inputs. Okay. And there is one option of feedback for this one as well. The output of this structure can be used as a further as an input to for any other combination, for any other output. Okay. So this will be more clear when we will be implementing a question which is something like, which will be using this feedback kind of connection. But this is not a sequential circuit. Outputs will be used there, but this is not a clock dependent something. We are seeing that there are output from the input side, there is connection from the output to input side, but this is not a sequential circuit. These are combinational PAL only. But there is a flexibility if I want to use some of the final output as a partial output of some other output, so that products can be minimized. This will be more clear if we take a question of this. So if we are not comfortable with this arrangement, we can rotate this and understand this again. So these are my 8 inputs and these are the 8 inputs, 4 true, 4 complemented. Okay. And these are 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1 true, 1 complemented, and these are actually the feedback outputs. You can check that this F1 is reaching here. So this is actually one of the output entering the input side. Okay. So how this is going to be used, we have to check this question. We are provided with this arrangement. Realize a 4 input 4 output system described by the following expression using PL. You are provided with the minterms. So we are not interested in solving the K-map. Actually we are more interested how the K-map output, K-map expressions are going to result in a PL structure. So I am skipping that K-map solving part and writing directly the expressions. So these are the expressions for the 4 K-maps. First K-map is giving me this expression, second, third, and the fourth expression, you can check that fourth expression is having this thing similar as W. Okay. This thing is similar to W. So I need not to regenerate these two products. I can use W as the output of W as the input towards this side. Okay. So in this thing, that output to input feedback connection can be utilized. So and if we prepare the programming table, we can check that A B C complement plus A bar B bar C D complement. First product is A B C complement, A B C complement. So A is there, B is there, C is 0, D is not used, W is not used. W is the feedback path. W is actually this output only. Okay. Then A bar B bar C D, second product. A bar, B bar, C, D bar. So this is A bar 0, B bar 0, C is directly, so it is 1, D bar is there, so it is 0, W is again not used. So these two terms will be added together to give you W. Similarly, the next two terms A, there is only A involved in this thing, so this thing completely is for W. This has been left blank because it has been mentioned to me that I have to use a structure which is having 4 input, 4 output and 3 wide AND OR structure. This 3 wide AND OR structure means there have to be 3 products for every OR gate. But my question is saying that there are only 2 products. So that third product has to be left blank. So that's why you can see that there are nothing mentioned here. There are 4 dashes here. Okay. Similarly, the second product A plus BCD. So this is corresponding to A and this is corresponding to B, C, D. So this is again A, B, C, D. Again, these 3 will be used. So third product is also not there. So there are 4 dashes here. The third product, third sum Y, A bar, B bar. So this is A bar B, A bar B, then C D, and then B bar D bar, B bar D bar. Okay. So these are the 3 products which will be comprising of, which will be making Y. And similarly Z is actually having 4 products. But if I had to realize these 4 products, then this question cannot be realized using this arrangement because there is a limit to the number of products in entering an OR gate. There can be maximum of 3 products. So as it is, I would not have been able to implement this. But if I am replacing this with this W, then the possibility can be there. Okay. So that's why you can see that these 2 terms I will realize A C bar D bar. This is A C bar and D bar, and then the last one is A bar B bar C bar D. Okay. So these are the 2 products which have been realized, and the third W is picked from here. So far this W was not used anywhere, but now this W is also used here. Okay. So now these 3 things are the input to the OR structure. Okay. So now we can see that this is the arrangement for the first. These are the arrangements for the first arrangement for this block. So A, B, C complement, this is A, this is B, this is C complement. Okay. And then A bar, B bar, this is A bar, this is B bar, and then C and D bar. And the third one is not required, so there is nothing on this third row, and this AND gate is not going to be used. So these 3 things, first product, product 1, product 2, and the third one is blank, are going to be added to generate W. Similarly, 4, 5, 6. So 4 is A, only A is involved, so this is A. Then B, C, D, this is B, this is C, this is D. So these are my 4th product, 5th product, and 6th product is also not going to be used because there are only 2 terms involved. Okay. Then 7, 8, 9 says A bar B. So this is A bar B. Then C D, this is C, this is D. Then B bar D bar, this is B bar, this is D bar. So these are product number 7, 8 and 9. They will be added together to prepare Y. So this was X, W, X, Y are ready, and for Z, W is required. That means this W will be entering towards the input side in form, this is W and this is W bar. I am only interested in W, so I will be using this wire, will be useful. So this, you can see that this is my W which is entering the first product, which is this one, 10th product. And 11th and 12th are generated as normal products, which are A C bar D bar. This is A C bar, D bar, and the last product is this A, B bar, C bar, D, A, B bar, C bar, D, 11 and 12. So these are the products which will be involved to compute Z. So in this way we can implement a complex structure using a PAL as well. Okay, although these things are not going to be asked in exams, but we have to cover that. So now let's proceed to the last programmable logic devices, FPGA field programmable gate array. So field programmable gate array, as the name suggests, it is there will be some kind of electric field arrangement by which we will be storing some data in form of ones and zeros. Okay. So FPGA is an integrated circuit that may contain 64 to 10,000 identical logic cells that can be viewed as standard components. So there can be as many as 64 and up to 10,000 logic blocks. That means that many functions can be computed, that many gates are there inside a single FPGA. So it is such a complex structure. So each logic cell can be independently take on one of the limited set of functionalities. So these logic cells, one cell can perform one type of functionality, and there will be multiple numbers. So if you want to compute 10 products, there will be 10 modules in that block, FPGA block, which can be directly used to compute the product. If you need 20 sums, so for those 20 sums there will be 20 blocks. There will be many more than 20. You want to use 20 out of them, you can use any portion which you want from that FPGA complex structure. Okay. Individual cells are interconnected by a matrix of wires and programmable switches. So all those different logic cells will be connected together with the help of wires and some switches. Whichever logic block which you want to use, you can make that switch connection permanent, which you can fuse that connection, and accordingly you can use that block. And to get the more details of this, field programmable, first of all, field programmable means that the FPGA's function is defined by the user program rather than the manufacturer of the device. As in case of PAL, which we have covered just before that FPGA, in that we have seen that the number of products were fixed. We cannot increase the number of products beyond 3. Okay, in that previous question which we have solved. But FPGA is saying that it is user dependent. It is up to your user how many blocks he want to use. If you want to reduce, you can make 3 to 2. If you want to increase, you can make 3 to 5, 6, whatever your requirements are. So this is the block level structure. How this is going to look like? There will be some input output blocks. These are input output blocks, external inputs and outputs. We will be able to apply external inputs and obtain external outputs, and inside this there will be logic blocks. So this hollow thing, this is a logic block. This is also a logic block. This is also a logic block. And those filled cells are these black ones. These black ones, this one, this one, this one, and many other. These are switches. Okay. So there can be question in 2 marks as well. How many different types of block are there in an FPGA? So there are 3 types of blocks: IO block, logic block, switch block, or you simply switch. Okay. So these are the 3 different types of blocks. So now how this is going to help me in programming, let's see this. So each logic cell combines a few binary inputs, 3 to 10, to 1 or 2 outputs. So every logic block, that means every logic block, this is a logic block, and it is mentioned as CLB because it can be configured. That same LB, logic block, is termed as CLB here because CLB means configurable logic block. User can configure that logic block. This logic block can have 3 to 10 inputs and 1 or 2 outputs. So maximum 3 to 10 inputs can be there and maximum 1 or 2 outputs can be there from that block. Okay. and that depends on the Boolean function you want to implement. And cells combination logic may be physically implemented as a small lookup table memory. Lookup table like the tables which we are in the last pages of our appendix part of our mathematics books, for log tables, for sine cosine tables, for inverse tables, anti-log tables. So those tables were already there in our books, and we just need to look into that table to obtain the value. So this is from where this term is introduced, lookup table. That means we just need to place the value from the table and the function will be implemented. We need not to understand how this value is generated, we just need to look from the table and implement that, simply copy paste type thing. Okay. Switch connections are managed by special software, and that means that special software will be implemented on a PC or a computer. Okay. So from that point of view, this is a complex structure which has to be implemented with the help of a computer. Normally you cannot have a FPGA and simply a user is able to program that. FPGA, we will be having a computer, that computer can program that FPGA. Okay. That means a computer is a minimum requirement on which that program software will be running. Okay. So now let's take an example how this connection are going to be prepared. You can check this logic block is implemented here. You can check that there are two, x1 and x2, and this is lookup table. This lookup table is 0001. That means it is resembles with which gate? AND gate. This lookup table resembles with AND gate. Okay, and two inputs are there. So this F1 output will be x1 into x2, because the truth table, this lookup table is of AND gate. Okay. Similarly, you can see that x2 and x3 is there, and this is 0100. So 0100 corresponds to x2, 0100 corresponds to 01. That means x2 bar x3. Okay. That means this F2 will be x2 bar x3. Okay. Similarly, you can check that this block is having F1 and F2, F1 and F2, and the values are 0111. So this 0111 corresponds to OR gate. This 0111 corresponds to OR gate. Okay. So that means this final F will be equal to F1 plus F2. F1 was x1, x2, and this second was x2 bar x3. So in this way, a complex expression can be implemented with the help of FPGA. So there can be more number of inputs if you want to realize A, B, C plus B, C, D. So A, B, C will be entering this, and 3 variable AND gates table will be placed in this. Another 3 variable table for BCD will be placed in this, and then another 2 input OR, because you want to add ABC plus BCD. Another 2 variable OR gate table will be placed in some other block. Examiner is not going to ask this, but I am just telling you all this so that you need not to cram this. You are able to visualize how these blocks are going to be interconnected, how these blocks are going to perform. So this is how this FPGA is going to help us, and there are some applications of FPGA as well. You can prepare any random logic. You can integrate multiple special programmable logic devices. That means multiple, it is able to compute the, it is able to perform the task of multiple logic devices by a single device. So this will be giving you a real advantage from simplicity point of view. So device controller, it can be used as a device controller. Small automation type arrangements like small microcontroller. Instead of using microcontroller, this complex FPGA can also be used, although it will be internal structure will be complex, but it can be used. Communication, encoding and filtering, emulation of large hardware systems. So whenever it is not possible to actualize the hardware. So, we can emulate that using FPGA. If the performance is satisfactory, then we can proceed towards the hardware realization of that system. Okay. So, these are our programmable logic devices. With this, we come to the end of the today's lecture. Thank you.